Hey, ESPN, I'm Jack.
And I'm Miles from the Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that answers the question,
what if Stephen A. Smith spoke at a normal volume and his opinions were based on fact and not completely insane? This probably isn't the best way to describe this.
No, you just negated the two things Stephen A. Smith is known for.
Okay, what if The Daily Show was hosted by us?
Yes, but who is us?
Okay, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles. I love soccer and get very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
He's also a former lobbyist who quit politics for comedy.
Yeah. Well, look, we covered news, the president, pop culture, and we're both very big sports fans.
I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach and ESPN alum Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm named after Miles Davis, the legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
So search the Daily Zeitgeist. If you don't know how to spell zeitgeist, like most of us, just type in Daily Z. It'll figure it out for you. On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dope?
I'm still David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we're Jalen Jacoby on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. What do?
We get the people what they want.
The people of Houston got what they wanted.
Who did you pick to win?
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
Who did I pick to win?
The Houston Astros.
Just putting that on wax.
Last night, in my neighborhood, Houston, hitting dingers. There's MVP, George Springer rounding the bases. The final out right there. And, of course, after the game, there was an ensuing celebration, jubilation, champagne-soaked visitors' locker room there in Chavez Ravine. But it was something that happened after the game that I wanted to discuss with you, Mr. Rose. It was what Carlos Correa did after the game during the celebration. Let's take a look.
Daniela Rodriguez, you make me the happiest man in the world. Will you marry me? Will you marry me?
Now, Jalen Rose, you know that I have a negative soul. You know that there's sometimes there's this dark place inside of me that just has negativity inside of it. It's evil. I try to keep it down, and sometimes it bubbles up. I didn't love the proposal. I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they're engaged. It seemed like a very happy moment for all parties involved. But I thought it was kind of a soft move. What do you think? Soft move or boss move?
That's a boss move, David Jacoby. How could any part of you not embrace, appreciate, and welcome seeing love?
Okay, I understand that. But here's why I'm going the other way. I'm going through Daniela Rodriguez's eyes, right? The day that you get proposed to, when you get engaged, it's a special moment. And you know what you want to do? You want to spend that time with your groom-to-be. So what he did is he got engaged, and then he basically looked at his fiance and said, I'll be back. I'm going to go drink with my boys for 4 hours. I'm going to come home hammered tonight, maybe even tomorrow morning. Enjoy that ring.
You're putting your relationship goals in their living room. You don't know what makes them tick. You don't know what's gone into their personal dynamics of how the game of baseball affects what they do. And clearly, she's there to support him.
Mm-hmm.
He just got a ring.
Gave her one.
I think it's a glorious way to top off not only celebrating something that's so meaningful to you as a player, but also allowing her to share that with you. It's a beautiful thing. I don't see how any way, shape, or form you could look at that as being negative.
I look at it like having your birthday on Christmas. You know what I mean? It's like this one day, two big things. Like, let's separate those two things. I'll have today with my teammates. We'll celebrate the championship. And there'll be another day in which our families can celebrate our love. And it can be a more intimate moment between the two of us.
Guess how many days their family can celebrate their love?
Eternity.
Guess what? They didn't get married yesterday. You want things to be the way you want them.
Okay. Look, I told you.
That was a beautiful thing.
This is coming from a negative place.
But how about
I'll admit
this?
that.
But how about this?
What's that, Mr. Rose?
You got to win to do that.
Does he get engaged if they don't win?
No.
Then he saves it for another day.
Correct.
You don't want to get engaged
That's
after
what
you
makes
lose
it a
the
boss
World
move.
Series. I'd be worried about the ring. You know? I'd be worried about the ring. Let's move on, though. I said that that opinion came from a negative place inside of me. Everything is negative about the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. They had their players-only meeting. They get together. They hash out all their differences. They complain about the coach. They talk to each other about what they need to do. And then they go out and host the Pacers and lose by 17 points to the Pacers. Jalen, they're now 25th in the NBA points against per game, 29th in defensive efficiency, and they're 3-5. What do the Cavaliers need to do?
I respectfully want to say something that nobody is going to say into a microphone about this team.
Oh, I like it.
Hit the brakes.
I like it.
Right now, the Cavs are an average basketball team, and they're going to be in trouble without Tristan Thompson.
Okay, out with Tristan Thompson strained a calf. He's out for about a month, they say.
His role on the team is to grab rebounds, to block shots, to give energy, to play big. Mm-hmm. He's their tallest rotation player. They initially took him out of the starting lineup in favor of Kevin Love.
Yep.
They realized that didn't work. They put him back in the starting lineup. Now he's out for a month with a calf injury. You go back to that original lineup that you were struggling with, other than Dwayne Wade starting at the shooting guard. Mm-hmm. Of course, they're extremely talented. They have LeBron James. They will weather the storm. But this also shows the value of one, Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
You don't replace Kyrie Irving's 25 points and 5 assists
with Derrick Rose
and then not get Isaiah Thomas's 30 points in return. This is why you do the deal. And since he's out, they're going to be a team that when the opponents come to town and or when they host their squad, they're going to get buckets against them.
They are. And the opposing teams are now shooting 41.8% from three. That is the highest percentage in the National Basketball Association. And not only that, you've got Kyle Korver out there, Kevin Love out there, LeBron out there, J.R. Smith out there, Jay Crowder out there. Those are all three-point shooters, and they're shooting 33% from three. Why are they shooting 33% from three?
The shots are different. When you have Kyrie Irving literally going into his bag and breaking down the defense, when you do those kickouts for threes, they look a lot better.
Alone.
When you have one or two players a lot of times on the floor that aren't knockdown shooters, including LeBron James, it suppresses the floor. And now I'm a step closer to all of the guys you just mentioned. I'm contesting those shots, and we get the board, we going the other way. And so this is going to be a theme that's not going to stop.
So you don't think this is a phase? This is, LeBron was injured at training camp. They're going to figure this out. They had a meeting. We're going to go the other way. They're still going to be fine.
This is the beauty of the game. This is guys like me went to bed and was like, Michael Jordan can't guard me. Mm-hmm. Scotty, I'm going to do work on them tomorrow. Shaq and Kobe, I got this. Guys get confident when they can score. I don't care where you hooping at. In the backyard, at the YMCA, the park. When a guy hits buckets, he's like, let's go. Yeah, feeling good about themselves. And so now teams are going to be confident playing against that group.
It's interesting. I am not as convinced as you that their problems are going to continue as long as they will, but listening to you, I'm starting to be as convinced as you that their problems are going to continue. Now, Mr. Rose.
Yes, sir.
It's very early in the National Basketball Association season. But not so early that we can't draw some interesting sort of just see some trends that are happening. So I'm going to name some stats for you. And you just tell me, there's going to be surprising. You just tell me what you think about it. Mr. Rose, what if I told you that the Warriors are giving up the third most points in the National Basketball Association? What? I can tell you why that's no big deal. Let me go that way first. They play a very quick game, a lot of possessions in their games, and they also outscore their opponents. They score the most in the league, so they're still winning. It's just a more possessions, higher scoring game that the Warriors style of play is. However, with their defense, which has won them championships, you would expect them to not only be behind the Nets and the Suns in this category. What do you think about the Warriors giving up the third most points per game?
Other than being a player, working on this side of the game as an analyst, this is as enthusiastic about the NBA as I've been.
Ooh. That's exciting. Me too.
This current landscape, when you start in the East, we all know about the King, LeBron James, and obviously the Cavs are a super team. Kyrie Irving and the Boston Celtics still making plays and winning games and looking good, led by Brad Stevens. The Greek Freak has emerged as clearly one of the top players in the entire league. Kristaps Porzingis is turning heads with the Knicks as a 7'3" player that can shoot the three and finish over the top. And like me, loves world star hip hop. Mm-hmm. And then you go to the Western Conference. This storyline's for days. We talk a lot about CP3 in Houston dealing with an injury. Russell, the MVP, all of a sudden gets to play with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. Blake Griffin has reemerged. The Minnesota Timberwolves have Jimmy Butler, re-signed Wiggins. We can't forget about Anthony Davis and Boogie! And of course, the Golden State Warriors. And the reason why I brought all of that into play before I wanted to directly answer your question is because teams are playing faster. And there are more guys that can put the ball in the bucket. I didn't name you a big burly guy that's doing well, like a Marc Gasol. Memphis is outplaying expectations right now.
Yep.
But usually, the change of pace that is taking place in the game and the number of three-point shots and the volume of possessions that teams have, when you're the Golden State Warriors, you can write a number on the board and say, we're going to get 115 every game, beat us. Mm-hmm. That's what the Houston Rockets' goal is if they're going to be a team that can upend that squad. So I don't really draw too much of a parallel about the points that they're giving up, because you still got to beat that team 4 out of 7 if you're going to eliminate them from the playoffs. Yeah. And I don't think any of the teams that they've lost to so far this year, including my Detroit Pistons, who also beat the Clippers and then lost to the Lakers. I love this game. So therefore, I'm not concerned at this point about it. But usually the Golden State Warriors are the best offensive and defensive team in the game.
That's why I find it surprising that they're giving up this many points. They certainly average the most points in the league with 121 points through 8 games. But they're giving up 114 points, and the teams around them might surprise you. Certainly not the Nets and the Suns giving up a ton of points, but the Minnesota Timberwolves right after them. And you know that Coach Thibodeau was my coach, right? Harvard basketball camp.
Tell a story. Listen up, I got a story to tell.
Harvard basketball camp, I want to say I'm probably 12, maybe, you know? So this is going to put us in 1990. And he was my coach. I was the leading scorer in the whole league in my age group. And they had a one-on-one tournament. And it was me, tall, slow, boring, post-scoring white dude, going up against Spider. And Spider was like Earl Boykins. He was tiny. He was cute. Everybody loved him. And the whole place is just cheering for Spider. Because it gets down to the finals where it's just me and him. And the whole place is cheering for Spider. You know what? I showed Spider no mercy. Just backed him down and just got buckets. I think I won like 7-2.
That's what you do.
Got my trophy.
No question.
Coach Tibbs was proud. So that's my brief Tibbs story. But I am surprised that the Timberwolves are also one of the worst, if you go points per game, teams in the league. Because if you look at not unlike the Warriors, if you look at the flip side of that stat, they are not at the very top of the league when it comes to point scoring. Now moving on to some individual players. Let's just stick with points for a second. Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the league 31.3 points a game. Right after that is a gentleman by the name of DeMarcus Cousins. You also call him
Boogie!
I know it's early, but I find the next two interesting. Steph Curry is at 28 points a game, and Kristaps Porzingis is also at 28 points a game. Then you got Anthony Davis at 27, and then you get into the James Harden and LeBron James area.
Can I hit the brakes real quick? It's
Yes,
only going
you
to
can.
take 10 seconds to say I got to say. It's
Sure.
a public service announcement.
Oh, what's that?
Out of all of the players you just mentioned, one of them is a point guard.
Steph Curry.
And we started to take for granted that he's one of the top 5 players in the whole league. Mm-hmm. Not only has he won 2 MVP trophies for the regular season, 1 unanimous, and 2 championships with their squad, when he averages 28, it's like it's no big deal.
No.
It's efficient. between the legs, behind the back, pulling up a three, finishing at the hoop, jumping off the right leg, jumping off the left leg. And, of course, we get excited about so many players in the game. But I just wanted to take that 15 seconds to pay homage to one Steph Curry.
Of course, also averaging 6.3 assists per game. Because at the very top here, there's not too many players that are getting a ton of assists like that. Like Kristaps Porzingis, 1.1 assists a game. Anthony Davis, 2.6. And then you get down to James Harden, who is also a point guard, and he's obviously got 9.2 assists.
How many assists Kristaps getting?
1.1. But he does it by accident. You know, like,
man, you play 30 minutes, you got to fall into 2 assists.
Deflect it off a defender or something, tap a rebound over to somebody and get a bucket. Like, he doesn't pass. Look at the rest of the roster. You know he doesn't pass. One thing I found really interesting here, if you look at points per game, just jumps out at me when you're looking at it. Eric Gordon, 11th in the league, averaging 24 points a game. Eric Gordon. This was supposed to be Chris Paul and James Harden. Eric Gordon is averaging 24 points a game.
Followed his trek for a really long time, especially via the fact that he played in Indiana. The things that I've seen from his game is before he was only a catch-and-shoot player. Now he can dribble the ball well enough to get his own shot. He's in shape now where he actually can finish at the hoop, including a monstrous dunk that he got earlier in the year. Usually that wasn't something that was a part of his game. And now playing in that Mike D'Antoni system where you're going to spread the floor and 5 guys around a three-point line, rise and fly, it's really impressive what he's done. My preseason pick to win 6th Man of the Year actually getting starters minutes with Chris Paul out.
Someone tells me Chris Paul will be out a while. I just feel it.
I already said it at the beginning.
They
were saying 2 to 4 weeks. I said it's going to be at least 6.
I'm surprised at the big three in Oklahoma City that Carmelo's leading them. Is that surprising to you? In points, they're pretty close. Westbrook and George literally have the exact same average of 19.6 points a game. And then we got Carmelo with 22.9 points a game.
The only way Paul George stays with OKC is if they have an amazing playoff run and he has one of those breakout type playoffs that he was able to achieve when the Pacers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and he was going toe-to-toe with LeBron James. When I watched them play, that situation so far, and it's hard to integrate players that are so very talented.
Of course.
And I was one of the most vocal people of trying to create another super team in Oklahoma City. He still has yet to truly be able to find his spots on the floor where he can be more effective, more efficient, and frankly, more productive. I expect him to actually be the guy that's leading that team in scoring based on the dynamics, not Carmelo.
I always thought it would be Westbrook because he's got the ball in his hand so much.
No, if you're Westbrook, you want these guys to stay.
Yeah, I guess so.
You can't be coming down, pulling up from half court. Not going to be able to do it.
The only way I see Paul George staying is, remember those Heat Pacers series where you really felt the Pacers were just a couple ball bounces away, maybe one player away, like a mid-level exception away? Do you remember those?
Lance Stevenson?
Yes, but Paul George needs to walk away from this season saying that to himself. Like, this team is just a couple bad breaks away. This team is one person away from beating the Warriors. So that means a deep series against the Warriors. Oh, wait. What happened last time? The Thunder went deep in a series against the Warriors.
They were up 3-2.
Oh, that's right. And then one of their best players left. So maybe that'll happen again this time. Because who knows? There certainly is a track record of people leaving Oklahoma City after losing to the Warriors.
I like what you did there, sir.
Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. Mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50, and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. MyBookie.ag.
Reg, don't do this to me. Seriously? We just gotta let this cook for a minute. If you're in your vehicle, roll down the window, look at the person in the vehicle next to you, and just tell them have a great day.
Shout out.
Have a great day.
That's it. You are the energy that you breathe. You truly are.
You know what? It's preached to me, Jalen Rose. I've been down. And the more I'm down, I complain. You know me. And then I get grumpy.
Just try this.
And then I give out bad energy.
What did the great American philosopher David Jacoby teach me about individuals in their own sequel?
Everyone is the hero in their own movie.
And if you look at the flip side of that, everyone has issues. Mm-hmm. Every person that you encounter is either in a storm or just came out of one. So just think about it like this. Money doesn't buy happiness or love.
Helps.
It just buys some of the things that you love.
Sure.
With that being said, try this as an emotional, psychological exercise.
All right.
Before you get out of the bed each morning, digest those things that you hope to address and improve. You can't ignore them. There's certain things that you just want to do better.
I like where you're going.
There's certain things that you're unhappy about that you want to find a way to create a level of solace in dealing with them. But before your feet hit that ground, embrace all that's great about you. Just try it.
I love this, Jalen.
Just try it.
I'll try it.
Just try it. What's good about those that you love also? You can look at somebody, it could be your mate, it could be a family member, it could be a friend. We can sit here all day and talk about things we don't like about each other.
Yeah, that's generally what we do.
But do the opposite.
I support this, Jalen Rose. I support this positivity.
And one other thing, this is the biggest one.
Uh-oh.
Your brain and your heart, look at them like they're disk drives. Like they're computers, like they can overload on information. Ignore and don't allow the noise into your psyche consistently. You become that energy. So if you're getting it from television, or if you're getting it from social media, if you're getting it from those around you, delete.
I appreciate that, Mr. Rose.
Rest in peace, Prodigy. Shout to the MOBBD. EEP, one of my favorite groups of all time. I love music, past, present. One thing that's totally missing in my playlist that was so prevalent until probably the last decade, R&B overall, in particular groups, and also in rap music. Groups. I'm not talking about labels. I'm not talking about cliques and crews. I'm not talking about collabs. I'm talking about actual groups. Mobb Deep represent that era. And how about this? Today is the born day of the late great Prodigy. I break bread, ribs, $100 bills.
Jalen Rose, Doc Rivers, was telling the media before the game.
Do you know his first name?
Glenn. Before the game yesterday, he told this story about trying to get intentionally kicked out of a game. Let's listen.
Danny Ainge tells me the Tigers making a run. He said, get thrown out. Get thrown out and come back and watch with me. So I go out, and it was like the first play in the third quarter. I go for it. Like yelling, ah! And he just stares at me. Nothing. And then doing a free throw, he tells me to come over. He says, I want to watch it too.
It's a funny story, but it got me thinking, how often do coaches intentionally try to get themselves thrown out?
Often. And Doc, you know I love you. Come on home. Whatever you got going on up there.
Oh, no.
Come on home. You can just cut it off. You'll be just as attractive. I'm more worried that after the game he was drinking a Red Bull. But with that being said, coaches have to do different things to inspire their squads. And there have been multiple times throughout the history of the league where that becomes one of the motivating factors. how they have a level of disdain towards the officials, get themselves kicked out, and see how their team's going to respond. Mm-hmm. There are also times where coaches would get themselves kicked out to give their assistant an opportunity to coach the team.
Oh, that's interesting. So what about you being an NBA player, knowing that there's some other sporting event on that you need to watch, whether it's the World Series, like DeAndre Jordan last night, who's an Astros fan, World Series going on. Was there ever a Lions game? They're never really in a big game, but was there ever a game that you wanted to see? Like, was there ever something else going on in the world that you needed to get updates on while you were in an NBA game?
No. And also, to preface your question, anyone that gets kicked out of a game, I got news for you. They're trying to get kicked out of the game. There are players that are a lot more emotional than others, say a Rasheed Wallace or DeMarcus Cousins or Draymond Green. There are coaches that are more demonstrative than others. Doc Rivers is one of those. So when you cross the line, you know you're doing it.
Especially if you've been in the league for years and years and years.
And guess what else? When you get one technical foul, guess what? You know you have it. And so it's almost about how close you can walk that fine line of keeping your aggression, because some players need that. Gary Payton needed that fuel. By the way, the Undefeated did a list of the next top 50, and they didn't have GP on the list. That's another subject for another day. So coaches understand that fuel, players understand that fuel, and there are times where coaches and or players basically understand that their behavior will get them ejected, and they don't mind doing it.
Joel Embiid is breaking out a little bit. He's averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, but not playing that many minutes. He played 30 minutes in the game against the Hawks, and he played well. And he has now said that he is no longer on a minutes restriction. We all know about his injury history. Jalen, would you be careful with how many minutes you played Joel Embiid if you were the Sixers franchise?
I would. He's only played 37 games in his first 3 seasons. He's already got his bread from the squad, so we're investing in you. And more importantly, I hate to say I told you so.
What's up?
But you remember what I've been saying on this program the last couple of years was going to happen when he got healthy? And then what I said when they took Ben Simmons in the draft? I said that they are going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. They're going to be one of the top front court tandems in the game. Period. Oh, and by the way, you ready for this? They both will be in the All-Star game this year. I don't know the last time a rookie was in an All-Star game, but Ben Simmons is going to be there. And I'm appreciating the performances I'm seeing out of multiple rookies around the league. But this guy's a franchise player. And so you have to bring Embiid along slowly with the minutes restriction because he's still getting his numbers. You guys see the upside. Oh, and by the way, you know the happiest person in the world that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are as advertised? Markelle Fultz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did he go in the draft?
Number 1 in the draft.
Where?
Number 1, the first pick. Ahead of some pretty productive players that have shown some real potential so far.
And I'm going to be 100 with you. That's the kind of move, if you the Sixers, you botched that one. I'm just going to go out there and say it right now. Not that he's not going to have a long career. Not that he's not going to be a good player. But I have an eye test. Been doing this a really long time. I know the difference between Dennis Smith Jr. and the potential that he has versus what I'm seeing in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. If they're able to take a guy like Tatum to go up front
Tatum
with
looks
them,
good. Tatum's playing defense, scoring. He looks good.
Now you remember now, Danny Ainge did what with the number 1 pick?
Traded the number 1 pick. And then after the draft said he would have taken Tatum if he had the number 1 pick. And now that, at first I thought that was a lie, but it's starting to look like maybe he knew something.
Imagine if they'd taken Tatum. Okay, these are the type of moves like when you're building the Golden State Warriors. We look at them now as a super team, but the core group of their squad, other than KD, that won a championship prior to him arriving and 73 games, they drafted all of those guys. Mm-hmm. And none of them were number 1. Steph, Clay, Draymond.
Second round.
Okay, if Philly would have taken Tatum, wow. You really vault yourselves into an opportunity to be like a super team.
Like you're gonna have such a good team, you'll have trouble keeping everybody because they all deserve max contracts.
Correct. And I'm hoping that Fultz gets healthy. You want to see the young guy who just came in the league and is already dealing with injury find a way to have a long career. But man, hindsight is always 20/20, and I'm the main source. I'm looking at the front
door. And very
door.
quickly, as much as the city of Houston is celebrating the Astros, some bad news in Houston. Deshaun Watson has been one of the most electrifying, exciting, and entertaining aspects of a pretty depressing NFL season. This NFL news cycle all season long has been about protest, and then it's about Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, Odell Beckham getting hurt, J.J. Watt getting hurt. All of this happening in primetime games, nationally televised games. And then we get to hear about the president weighing in and Papa John weighing in. And there's just so much negativity. You know, you're watching these guys just get carted off. It seems like one a quarter in every single game around the NFL. But there was this bright spot. There was this young quarterback who took over for Tom 21 Savage and threw last week against the Seahawks secondary. Threw for over 400 yards, ran for 50, and had 4 touchdowns against the Seahawks secondary. And he's a rookie.
The first player in the history of the league to amass those numbers in a game.
And he's a rookie. And he just so happened to beat Alabama in the national championship game last year.
He did that.
The Houston Texans really felt like they had the defense. They had the skill players. They have a decent line. All they needed was a quarterback. And after trying out every single terrible quarterback that was available, they landed Deshaun Watson, put him in the game, and he tore it up. And now he is hurt in a non-contact injury at practice. Has a torn ACL.
Wow. I'm speechless for a few reasons. One, just yesterday on our program, we were talking about how in ESPN the magazine, Tom Brady talked about avoiding injury and all of the things he does as it relates to a lifestyle. And I specifically said, you can't truly avoid injury.
No, you can't. And he made this thing where he was like, before another player's helmet hits my body, I focus on loosening and softening my muscles. Here's the thing. Deshaun Watson can be as pliable as one. He can eat all the broccoli in the world. He can sleep in hyperbolic pajamas just like you do, Tom Brady. But sometimes these things just freakishly happen.
And also, how about this? It humanizes me in a different way. Because I'm a fantasy football freak. Like most of you out there listening to the program. I'm online. I'm trying to do deals. I'm watching the shows.
Talking to Matt Berry.
I'm trying to get the updates. You know what's cold about that? When I have to go to my roster as fast as possible when Odell Beckham gets injured and cut him. Or when Miller of the Bears gets injured and cut him.
Zach Miller.
Now when Deshaun Watson gets hurt, I have to cut him. What a cold part of the influence that it relates to fantasy football, that I don't help my team if I wait.
And it's also, if you look at someone like Bill O'Brien or the team, and you have like an hour to feel for Deshaun Watson before you have to start preparing for your next opponent. You know, and even the feeling, have you had a teammate have a serious injury? What's one that you remember?
I remember a teammate in high school, Mike Lovelace.
Shout out to Mike Lovelace. Great name.
We were playing, I think, at Finney. And he was driving left. And his leg buckled. And I looked down. His kneecap was sticking out the side of his leg.
Oh, wow.
That probably, up close and personal, was one of the more gruesome injuries that I've seen. But my playing career, whether as a teammate or opponent, I was fortunate that the only other real catastrophic injury that I saw, it was me.
The hand?
No, I got carried off on a stretcher.
Oh, when you got knocked out?
I got clotheslined against our rival, Cooley. Went up for a left-hand dunk. Ken Conley clotheslined me. fell and hit my head, was unconscious, went into convulsions. It's the visual on the Fab 5 movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just show it so fast that people sometimes don't realize that was actually me. And so I was really fortunate whether one of my teammates or opponents didn't suffer one of those Gordon Hayward, Paul George, Sean Livingston type injuries while I was present.
Speaking of Gordon Hayward, he kind of came out. You know, he hasn't really spoken too much about the injury, but he went on the Today Show. He held a press conference, and he said he's going to do everything he can for his teammates. And he talked about the experience of the injury and looking down at his leg and see it pointed the wrong direction. And he said that at first it was just shock, and there was no pain for a long time. And then he remembered looking at the ref and asking the ref to stop the game. And then he said the pain just hit him all at once.
It always fascinates me when, and I started the segment talking about this, when the hurricane, the firestorm, when the turbulence is happening, a level of calmness that I've seen people have in those situations. Because if I look down and see my leg like that, I would be screaming.
Screaming? I would try to put it back together again. You know what I mean? That'd be my initial response would be to grab my foot and try to point it forward and act like it wasn't a thing. It also brings up the Jeremy Lin injury. If you think about that one moment when you realize something is wrong, and in a moment where he's just going off instinct and reacting organically, Jeremy Lin says, "I'm done. I'm done." And that is one of the more telling responses, because whether he meant I'm done for the game or I'm done for the year, or I'm done, my career is over because my knee no longer functions, it is a response that is not premeditated in any way, shape, or form, and it's really depressing to hear that. And this whole Deshaun Watson thing is extremely depressing to me. The Gordon Hayward, I was with you. If you think about that injury, it was early on in the first quarter of the first game of the season. Every single eyeball is on the television. It's LeBron. It's the return of Kyrie. It's all of that. And then you see Gordon Hayward go down, and the rest of the game just became pretty insignificant at that point. And I imagine that the Texans are looking at themselves, feeling good about themselves this morning with Deshaun's play. They're giving the Seahawks a run for their money. They're not in the NFC, so they don't have to deal with them. They get the AFC looking at the Chiefs and the Patriots and the Steelers and saying, we can do this.
And I'm going back to this because I'm not the only one. And then there are people like me who love Deshaun Watson. I'm clearly a fan of the league, clearly a fan of his. I watch players get injured. It kind of comes with being an athlete. But I also play fantasy football. There are also people like myself that are looking down at their squads. Like, I invested a lot of money.
Zero sympathy towards you.
I mean, you should.
That's part of the game.
I know. But I was really looking at my squad like this was going to be my playoff lineup. Deshaun, LeGarrette Blount, Fournette, Baldwin, Larry Fitzgerald, Kelsey. I stashed Olsen for when he comes back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
Have Minnesota's D. I have the Titans kicker and the Lions kicker who got me 18 points. Backups Coleman to flex in of the Falcons.
You know why the Lions kicker got you 18 points? Because the Lions couldn't score a touchdown. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. They're in the red zone 3 times last week or something. Didn't score a single touchdown.
Well, you know your team. That's why I have their kicker.
If there's one sound that you can make that sort of encapsulates the Lions' performance this week.
No, we didn't win. Yeah. All I know is this. These beats are so rap legend classic.
We're celebrating the work of Prodigy today on his birthday. Rest in peace. Gentleman who gave us albums upon albums upon albums of great hip-hop music. A lot of people that you listen to currently owe a lot of their style to Havoc and Prodigy. Especially infamous Prodigy. Jalen, not everything is worth discussing in the world of sports and pop culture.
I know, so these Mobb Deep beats
have a game called
Fire.
Keep It Moving. If it's worth discussing, we will hit the brakes. If it's not, we will keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Alchemist, Havoc, anybody that contributed to my albums. Classic beats.
Jalen Rose, Central Michigan coach, sleeps with the rivalry trophy. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
They scored 21 straight fourth-quarter points to down-heated rival Western Michigan last night in Kalamazoo. Shane Morris's 77-yard touchdown pass to Corey Willis with 2 minutes and a little bit left gave the Chippewas the lead. Coach John Bonamego celebrated the victory by sharing a hotel bed with the trophy and his wife Paulette. Paulette posted a picture of him and the trophy snuggling on social media. Here's the thing. I get sleeping with the trophy. I don't get sleeping with the trophy and your wife. You got to pick. You got to pick one.
It's just nostalgic. She understands. Again, what ends up happening when you're a public figure, people think that you're the only person that make you tick. When you're watching your favorite athlete or entertainer or whatever profession you do for a living, people thank you. People tell you how great you're doing, but you're not the only person that makes you tick.
People give Jalen Jacoby way too much credit for Jalen and Jacoby. There is a lot of people that work on Jalen Jacoby that make Jalen Jacoby that aren't named Jalen or Jacoby.
And or in your personal life.
Of course.
And so for this coach, I'm pretty sure before he leaves the house to go coach his football team, the backbone of his house is the person that's sleeping in the bed with him every night.
Paulette.
The trophy only gets one night.
Yeah, trophy doesn't contribute the same way Paulette does. Shout to Paulette and shout to the Chippewas. Andrew Luck has been ruled out for the season officially. He is now on the injured reserve. Jalen Rose, keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
After the news of Deshaun Watson, now there's news that Andrew Luck will no longer even attempt to return this season. If the Colts had a better record, perhaps that'd be different. But he had a surgery in December, I believe, a second surgery in January. This doesn't seem good. Do you think this is the right decision for the Colts?
It's definitely the right decision, especially because Jacoby gets to play.
You know I love Jacoby.
In all honesty, though, this football season is truly being marred by its star figures. Odell, Luck, Rodgers, young stud Deshaun Watson, all out with injuries.
If you are an NFL player that is of the status where big, huge companies pay you millions of dollars to appear in their commercials, you're in trouble. You know, Tom Brady comes to mind, someone who's still healthy out there doing that kind of thing, but he's pliable. He focuses on not being injured with his brain, and his body just listens, so that's different. I don't believe anything Tom Brady says anymore. You know that? He's trying to sell a book. That's what he's doing. He's trying to sell a book.
We're buying it. I bet right now, if you pull out your phone and you go to your Twitter account, you go to your Instagram account, I bet you follow him.
No, I don't follow Tom Brady. I'll check. I'm almost positive. I follow a lot of people, but I don't think Tom Brady's one of them. I don't need those updates. I don't need to see the avocado toast. You know, I don't need that in my life. Let me see.
I might have to join IG.
You should. I don't know what took you so long.
I might have to join IG.
Tom Brady.
At me and tell me why I need to join IG.
I'm not following Tom Brady on Twitter, and I'm certainly not following him on IG. So you are wrong, Mr. Rose. And Reggie, for pushing the That's a Lie button, you are wrong too, sir. I don't follow Tom Brady.
You're a Die Easy Pats fan.
Yeah, I die real easy, though.
They just won the Super Bowl. This guy.
It was close.
Shouldn't have been down 28-3.
Fizdale had something very interesting to say about Mario Chalmers finishing the game. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. Doing a terrific job with that squad.
With under a minute to play, Aaron Gordon hit a three from the corner to put the Magic up 100-99. That's when Chalmers went to work. The next three Grizzlies possessions went like this. Chalmers drives and throws a pass to the corner out of bounds. He steals the ball from Terrence Ross and flubs a breakaway layup, and then misses a three with 17 seconds left to go. Fizdale said that, quote, his brain was gone. They do have history. They're both in the Heat organization at the same time. So, you know, they know each other, so I don't think that Chalmers will be that upset. But should a coach publicly talk about a player in that manner?
Absolutely. We have gotten so sensitive as people who follow the game that we can't take honest criticism from anybody and own it. Newsflash, everyone. Sometimes your critics are right.
Yep.
And I didn't hear you say anything that was incorrect.
But here's the thing. It's like I always, my look in the mirror first thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm always look in the mirror first guy.
He was looking in the mirror. The problem was Mario Chalmers was standing behind him. You said three things that who did?
Chalmers.
Okay. He's a professional athlete. He owns it. He's a champion. He know what it is.
The Lion King cast is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in the history of the human species.
Keep it moving.
Keep moving or hit the brakes. Oh, come on, Jalen. Come on.
All right, hit the brakes for Q. I'm only doing it because I know it'll make Quincy happy.
Beyonce's in there. Donald Glover's in there. James Earl Jones is in there. John Oliver is in there. You know who John Oliver is? Yeah, you do. Seth Rogen is in there. Billy Eichner. You don't know who that is. Eric Andre's in there. It is a list of huge, big names and also like people on the come up that are super great and funny. It is brilliant. However, here's the problem. It's basically an animated movie. Like, is it it's going to be live action like Jungle Book remake was, but there's no people in Lion King. So it's basically just an animated movie, and all these people won't appear. They'll just do voices from a studio. You still excited about it?
I'm not excited about it anyway.
Really? Not even on the plane? You take a lot of planes. You won't watch The Lion King?
I'm good.
I'll watch The Lion King.
I'm good.
I'll watch it without Q. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. You can also hit us up on our 1-800-FLOWERS Twitter feed. That is at Jalen and Jacoby. If you leave us a voicemail, Reg will listen to it. If he likes it, he'll put it on the show just like this.
Hey, what up, though? This hike from L.A. via Massachusetts, East Long Meadow. Just wanted to call, listen to you guys since back in the day when you guys used to have brackets of the best rap groups and so on. But I tried the little concoction, Jalen's concoction of apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, some ginger in there too. Ooh, that stuff's good. That stuff started my day. I am ready. It's gonna be a good one. Thanks, guys. Keep giving people what they want.
So, Jalen, on the show yesterday, you kind of gave a tip. It seemed like it was a tip for the fellas with apple cider vinegar, with cayenne pepper, and ginger. Sounds disgusting to taste. Is that like an erectile dysfunction thing? Or is it just a cleanser?
Both.
Okay. Hey, a little lead in the pencil never hurt.
It's literally both. Of course, anybody does white lies throughout their lives or throughout their day.
Of course.
I'm not going to act like I'm pristine. But things that really mean something, I don't lie. I'm trying to tell you, as somebody that's 44 years old, maybe I should take vitamins. I don't.
Me neither.
But let me tell you something else. I don't take any pills in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, me neither, really.
I'm good.
Even when I had like a surgery or something and they just prescribe me a bunch of pain pills, I try to get off them as soon as I can.
I have 2 words for the pills. I'm good. I'm good. It's always been like that. And so you need, and I don't really do the caffeine. So this is like a combination of both. And take this tip and tell me the results. Kind of like, how does it jumpstart your day? Does it give you energy? And also, like in the Frank Thomas commercial, tell me what she think about it.
I'm excited about this because this dude, I think his name is Hyde. I couldn't hear it. He's from L.A. Shout to 413. He's from Massachusetts originally. He must have gone shopping for this because we don't have this stuff lying around the house. You know what I mean? I don't have apple cider vinegar lying. I think I might have some, but I don't have.
You do.
I don't have cayenne pepper.
Let me tell all of the fellas something, especially those that don't really cook. When you go to your kitchen, you don't even realize this. You have apple cider vinegar.
I think I do. I think I do in the cabinet. I don't have ginger lying around.
You have it. You never seen it get used, but you have it. Trust me.
Okay. I think it's right next to the black castor oil. Thanks so much for the call. Everybody, let us know what you think of Jalen's concoction. Send us a video of yourself drinking it and making it. I'm still curious how the ginger works. Do I have to muddle it? Do I have to shave it up? Do I have to grind it? Do I just put it in there?
Just put it in there. Don't even overthink it.
Okay, I like it. Let's listen to another voicemail. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail just like this.
What up, Jalen? What up, Jacoby? Shouts out, Reg. Shouts out to the rest of the crew. Hey, this is Tristan representing Louisiana, man. This one's for Jalen. Jalen, I recently started practicing washing my hands before I go to the bathroom. Great logic in that. Appreciate it. Which brings me to my question. Soft move or boss move? Taking a shower before I take a relaxing bath. Because if you just take a bath before you take a shower, you're rinsing off with the dirty water. Let me know what y'all think about that. Keep getting people what they want.
That's my dude.
I like this logic.
So, a couple of things. There's certain things in life that people do that I just judge them before they open their mouth.
Oh, okay.
One of them is, if you're an adult and you're walking through the airport and you have one of those rings around your neck.
I judge you if you drink a Monster or a Rockstar energy drink. If you went to the place and you could have had a Red Bull or a cup of coffee, you said, I want the one that says Monstar. I want Rockstar.
So just yesterday, I'm not going to mention the staff member of the great company.
Okay.
That I work for and you work for as well.
Definitely Molly Karam.
The worldwide leader. No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I was here for NBA Countdown.
Okay.
She's in Connecticut holding it down. Red eye in there Friday night. I go in the bathroom, pre-show, putting a little shine on my head, trying to make sure the waves is popping.
Why am I so interested in this story?
I wash my hands.
Uh-huh.
Because my hands were a little greasy after putting the oil on there I got from Reg.
Uh-huh.
I wash my hands. I use the bathroom. As this person comes in, they see me use the bathroom.
And then leave without washing your hands.
And I leave without washing my hands.
I don't feel like I need to explain myself to anybody when it comes to that kind of thing.
I didn't. But the reason why I'm saying this, I started this by saying what? There are certain things people do that I judge them. There was somebody, I'm sure, in our company that works with me.
That was judging you.
I've been here for 10 years, and I'm pretty sure in their head, like, did he just leave out of the bathroom when I'm washing his hands?
I have two things to say about that. I don't pee on myself, and my genitalia is not dirty. So at what point what do I need to wash, on or off?
And by the way, even if it is, it's cleaner than your hands.
Exactly. My hands touch so many things throughout the day. My genitalia stays wrapped up in a nice little box package.
Now let me get to the second part of, this is my favorite. These are my favorite questions. Good job, whoever pulled these questions. Thank you all for the callers for producing this program. What he just described, I do 95% of the time in reverse.
Oh, you go bath then shower?
Yes.
Oh, no, Mr. Rose.
I go bath then shower.
Do you have a separate bath and a separate shower?
Let me tell you why. There are times when I travel and I'm in a hotel room where there's only a tub and there's only a shower. At my personal residence, I'm fortunate where the shower and the bath are separate.
Yes.
But I'm on the road 50% of the time.
I can't wait till my shower and my bath are separate. That's some goals. That's some life goals right there.
Life goals right there. And when you don't have many Jack and Jills. When each room has their own bathroom.
Yeah, my kids have their own bathroom now, the big one.
There you go. So, just this morning, I'm on the road, traveling a little bit, take a little bath.
In the morning?
Of course.
That is savage. Oh, bath? I thought bath was like a nighttime wind down thing.
No.
You got too much damn time. How come you don't prep for the show then?
Because sometimes you just gotta really soak. You know, fellas, you think you're washing your backside and you think you're wiping it good when you sit on the toilet. You're not.
Gotta soak.
And by the way,
so now I understand why you're taking a shower afterwards.
There you go. And so, I don't know how everybody else does this, but let me pull you behind the curtain on something else.
Oh, I've got some questions.
When you're using the bathroom, okay, it don't take a whole roll of toilet paper on your hand and wipe it one time and you're done. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, Mr. Rose, I believe we could come over to my house and speak to my children about this, but I think most of our listeners are pretty familiar with how to do that.
You have to do multiple small wipes.
Okay.
You have to look at the toilet paper and make sure you wipe completely.
You need to talk to Quincy. You need to talk to your nephew next time you come over. He needs these lessons.
And so, that's what makes taking a bath important. So I take this bath.
Mm-hmm.
Then I stand up. Okay. Then I take a shower to rinse off.
So here's my question. I like a soapy bath. So while the bath is pouring into the tub, I will squirt the soap directly underneath where the water is hitting the standing water to bubble it up. And I will use a ridiculous amount of soap. So I always like to think that although the dirt is coming off of my body into the bath water, I'm overpowering it with the amount of soap that I use. Do you use a similar tactic?
No, because I do it in reverse, because to me, you take the bath first while the tub is clean. And then you stand up and take the shower. If you take the shower first, either you need to clean the tub before you lay in the bathtub, or you're laying in the dirt you just washed off in the shower.
Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Columbus.
That was one of my favorites.
And I got a take me behind the curtain question for Jalen. How much of defense in the NBA is will versus skill? Especially at the guards and on the wings. How much are these dudes just not committed to defense versus how much of it is actually skill and technique? All right, thank you guys. Love the show. Been listening for years.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love. Shout out. Playing defense in the NBA and or your intangibles, period, like effort, sacrifice, having a good attitude. These are attributes that aren't on the stat sheet, but man, they're skills. Yep. Those are actual skills, just like somebody having a handle, somebody being able to shoot. Because if you're not right between the ears, you can't function with the other 14 guys.
I feel like rebounding is always a good indicator, too, especially from guards. Because what guards want to do, they want someone else to get the rebound so they can run 40 feet from the basket, get a long outlet pass, and do something fancy in transition, whether it's a bucket or a pull-up or a pass.
That was me.
Yes.
But I had to make a choice because I wasn't the fastest guy. So either I'm going to get in the paint and get the rebound and try to push it 94 feet in traffic, or I'm going to let somebody else get the rebound, kick it to me, and I go.
Yes.
So playing defense is definitely about your will. But these players are so good at scoring, it's got to be a team effort.
Jalen Rose, what we've decided to do here is retire some words from the English language. Explain the process.
This term should not be used for popular lexicon ever again. I don't care if you're young or old. It doesn't matter your race, creed, or color.
You cannot use this word anymore because we have officially retired it. What word are we retiring today, Mr. Rose?
The term is swagger. It's played out. It's cheesy, it's corny, and more important, it's gone mainstream, literally.
Let me tell you how it's gone mainstream, right? First, we'll look at the definition. The dictionary definition is to conduct oneself with an arrogant or superstitiously pompous manner, especially to walk with an air of overbearing self-confidence. I'm sure I said that word wrong, superciliously, but whatever. Then, let's talk about how it's gone through time. This word was brought to us by the great William Shakespeare, who used it in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and then passed on from William Shakespeare to Jay-Z, who originated the term swag, according to our research on the Black Album. But then it took a turn. You say, why would you retire a word that's been used by William Shakespeare and Jay-Z?
Yeah, it was fly in. It was swagger on 100,000 trillion.
Yeah, it was great. And then what happens is we have 2010, Usher hired a swagger coach for Justin Bieber to coach him how to have swag. That's problem. And it really, really all ended in 2011 when the NPR considered it the hip-hop word of the year, and the New Yorker declared the word as a noun and adjective, a verb, and an all-purpose saying. Once NPR gets involved, and once the New Yorker gets involved, you're past that Jay-Z phase. So why are we retiring this right now?
Because it's really important that we stay current. And as this program continues to progress, we've become leaders in a lot of ways. So it's up to us to do the honors and show individuals that this term is retired forever.
You are about to raise this term into the rafters, and it will never be spoken again inside this room. Jalen Rose, please do the honors. There will no longer be any mention of swagger inside this room or outside this room from Jalen Jacoby or Jalen Jacoby followers.
And or anybody that realizes that it's 2017.
It's kind of played out by now. Yeah. Moving on. In your home state. What's your home state?
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan, that's right. There's a 47-year-old Alpena woman who filled out an application at a restaurant for a job. What sort of information do you think she put on this application? What her name is, what her social security number is, and the address to her home. On her way out of the restaurant, she took money from the cash register. Jalen Rose, how do you think they found this woman?
Let me guess. By the information she gave them.
Would you hire this person?
Absolutely not. Because, number one, you can't be the smartest individual.
No.
And number two, you're a thief.
And you're also, this is not premeditated. You know, if I'm going to have you around the register, the first time you're ever around the register, you take money out of it.
That's a setup, too.
It is. Nothing is more important than this next topic. You're familiar with Alex Trebek and his work?
I am.
He
Jeopardy.
is the host of Jeopardy, a terribly named television program, but that's not what we're here to discuss. No. He had a story about a dinner party that went awry.
Listen up, I got a story.
Would you like to hear about it?
Yes, indeed.
He said, quote, "It was by accident. I didn't know what they were. I had just arrived in California and went to a friend's house for dinner, and there were brownies. I love brownies. I'm a chocoholic, and I didn't realize that they were hash brownies. And whoa, that threw me for a loop. I took down about a half dozen. The dinner party was on a Friday. I was not able to leave that house until Sunday afternoon." I have a lot of questions about this. Number one, whether they're hash brownies or regular brownies, whether you're a chocoholic or whatever, 6 brownies is too many brownies, Alex Trebek. Like, you're going in. Like, 6 brownies in one sitting? Alex, that is not healthy. And then when you find out that they are hash brownies, how long does it take before you're able to leave the house? Like, if I invited you over on Friday, you're still there on Sunday morning, I don't care what's going on. You got to go.
I might have taken an edible before, and I'll tell you what, I felt like Smokey and Debo's chicken coop.
Alex Trebek had 6. He couldn't leave the house for 36 hours. They didn't call the hospital. He's just probably in there just asking questions without answers. You know, just what is what I ate?
That's not what he was doing.
What was he doing?
He was doing 2 things.
What's that?
He was sweating and sitting on the toilet.
Huh. Interesting visual.
And
Interesting visual.
Taking in a lot of water.
Hydrating a little bit?
Yes, indeed.
I just love the idea of this family that invited him over to the home. He's new to California. They invite him over. They've got their little stash of brownies. They forget to tell him what they are. And now they're stuck with a house guest the entire weekend. They didn't plan on babysitting a paranoid, freaked out Alex Trebek all weekend.
I don't blame the host.
I'm calling the cops after a while.
You blame the guests. Why are you at other people's house eating things you don't know what they
6
are?
brownies? After 2 brownies, I'm all brownied out, Alex Trebek. How many brownies is appropriate to eat in a sitting? If I make a whole tray of brownies and one of my guests eats 6 of them, that was not part of the plan. We'll be back tomorrow if they don't cancel us because you admitted you ate an edible.
I said I might have.